He was supposed to be one of the best pitchers of this generation. He still could be. But what is going on with Paul Skenes? It's not just that the Pirates are losing 14 games this year. When Paul Skenes has started, the Pirates have lost the game outright. That would be the other guys, right? Skenes goes for 6 innings, and then the bullpen comes in and blows it. No, back-to-back starts for Paul Skenes where he's given up 5 earned runs. He starts tonight. Does the slide continue with Paul Skenes? The stats would tell you he might not be healthy. There are some really concerning numbers around Paul Skenes. We'll do that today. It's the Bengals for our team of the day, and we head to Vegas for Bet Bash tomorrow in Las Vegas. We got a lot to get to on the program. Welcome to Wednesday. This is Pushing the Odds.
It's time! And now, introducing your host, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Boston, Massachusetts, presenting live from the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. It's Pushing the Odds.
For guys like me, Las Vegas washes away your sins. It's like a morality car wash. Back home, they would have put me in jail for what I'm doing. But out here, they're giving me awards.
Here he is, Matt Perrault.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wednesday, boys and girls. How are you? It is a new episode of Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault, being presented by BetCris Arizona, Paul Skenes, and the Pirates. We'll talk baseball in the opening line as to what's going on with Paul Skenes. Why has this year been so poor for Paul Skenes? He is a guy who we anticipated he could have gotten traded at some point and played for a different team, a la Tarek Skubal, who had his debut spoiled last night by the Cubs in his first start in a Dodger uniform. People thought that that was going to be his future. Well, the numbers right now, teams, obviously, they would take Paul Skenes. But is he headed for a Tommy John knife at some point in the very near future? It sure looks like it from the numbers that he is putting up this season, that something is not right with Paul Skenes. And whether or not the Pirates are going to be able to absorb a year and a half without him is a huge question, because he has been their face. He is their franchise. And if he is not available for a long period of time, what does his future look like in Major League Baseball? We will talk and jump down the rabbit hole about a really interesting opportunity that one fan of Akron football is going to get. What would you call, if you were the offensive coordinator for your favorite team, if you had a shot to be the OC for a drive, what play calls would you come up with for your offense? Would you be conservative? Would you run the ball? Would you do flea flickers? Like, what would you do? Akron is running a contest for their season ticket holders where you could get that opportunity to call a series for Akron football. Not kidding. We'll do that today. The Bengals team of the day. We'll get into what's going to happen here for the Bengals. And their roster is stacked. Their schedule is the third easiest. Their win total is 10.5. We'll get to the Bengals today. We've got Hall of Fame game plays to make. We have a Trend Center Trend of the App play today. We are loaded. Big show. Lots to get into on the program coming up here for today. We head to Vegas in about 4 hours. We're on a plane heading to Vegas. Let's start it with the opening line being brought to you by Huel. Opening line being brought to you by Huel. That QR code takes you right to the website. So if you got your phone open, you can shoot the screen, and there you go. Takes you right to it. 15% off for new customers with their first purchase at Huel. We're talking about a meal. This is not a supplement. This is a meal. You're going to replace breakfast or lunch or even dinner with this. We're talking 400 calories. We're talking 40 grams of protein, 11 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals. It comes in a variety of flavors. They just told me that they are sending me a new flavor, so I'll have a new flavor to try coming up in the next week or so. PTO is that code. Vegan, gluten-free, with Huel. Take control of your entire breakfast and dinner routine, lunch routine, and make sure you're staying on that healthy track. HUEL is Huel, human fuel. Check it out with Huel.com/PTO to save 15% off your first purchase. Paul Skenes came into Major League Baseball after dominating at LSU with so much hype. Everyone was talking about Paul Skenes and how good this kid was going to be. Generational talent, flamethrower. Nobody could touch him, right? Then he gets Livy Dunn, the international, world-famous influencer, LSU gymnast. That's his girlfriend. So the two of them are everywhere, right? They're on red carpets. They're going to, every big gala, every big event, the ESPYs and whatnot. The Pirates haven't won anything since Paul Skenes has become a member of their franchise. They've been somewhat competitive, but not this year with Paul Skenes on the mound. The Pittsburgh Pirates have lost 14 games with Paul Skenes as the starter. Now, you might be able to say that is not Paul Skenes' fault. That's the offense. That's the defense. That's the bullpen. No, it is as much Paul Skenes' fault that this team has lost 14 games as Paul Skenes himself. Tonight, they are minus 130, or the Brewers are minus 130 favorites over Paul Skenes and the Pirates, with Kyle Harrison coming off the IL to pitch for the Brewers. He's been tremendous at points this year. He got a little tired in July, and he was shut down with an injury for the last month, but he's now back on the bump for the Brewers. The Brewers are tremendous at home. The Pirates aren't great on the road in Paul Skenes, whether it be home or road. Paul Skenes hasn't been great. The numbers for Paul Skenes, this is just shocking. His ERA in July was 6.25. His ERA is 3.9. This guy we're used to seeing a sub 2 ERA for Paul Skenes, not sub 4. Hits per inning are up to 1.2. Walks per inning is 0.38. And how about this stat for Paul Skenes? Skenes has allowed 5 runs in the last 2 starts, 5 or more earned runs, as many times as he did in his last 6 starts, 3 times, as he did in his first 72 starts of his Major League Baseball career. Last 2 games, back-to-back, 5 earned runs given up, and he got racked a couple of starts ago, 4 starts ago, got lit up. 3 starts of 5 or more earned runs, tying as many times as he had in the previous 72 starts in Major League Baseball for Paul Skenes. That is unbelievable. The question is why? Why is Paul Skenes having such a difficult time this year? And it comes down to velocity. Look at this. In his first 2 seasons in Major League Baseball, Paul Skenes threw pitches at 98 or higher 1,152 times. This year, just 95 pitches have gone over 98 or at 98 or higher. That is an average of 4 times per start. Previously, it was 28 times per start, 28-4. That is a dramatic drop in an era of power pitchers, in an era of guys pumping 100-mile-per-hour fastballs all game long. Paul Skenes is down to 4 pitches on average per start at 98 or higher. You have to ask the question as to whether or not Paul Skenes is healthy. Is he healthy? He was a generational talent. He was seen as a Roger Clemens, a Nolan Ryan, a workhorse, right? But you have to ask about the Tommy John potential, because so many of these pitchers who are power pitchers, who have thrown so many innings, who have come through all of this, who have come through so many pitches through college, minors, although he ripped through the minors, into the big leagues.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey,
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is. It is totally on him now when the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. You know, we've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
He was a generational talent. He was seen as a Roger Clemens, a Nolan Ryan, a workhorse, right? But you have to ask about the Tommy John potential because so many of these pitchers who are power pitchers, who have thrown so many innings, who have come through all of this, who have come through so many pitches through college, minors, although he ripped through the minors, into the big leagues. There's just wear and tear on the rotator cuff and on the shoulder, and it starts to add up. And we've seen so many people, so many pitchers have career flashes like this, and then they go under the knife. Paul Skenes last week was asked about his velocity, and he was pretty honest about it. He said, look, he understands and he knows his velocity is down, but he thinks he can be a great pitcher without the velocity, that he can be a dominant pitcher with off-speed pitches and developing different pitches as he goes. And that is really my best comparison to that is looking at Pedro Martinez and what Pedro Martinez was able to do later in his career when he started to lose that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Pedro made the ball dance. He was so good because the fastball wasn't what it once was, but he was so good at making the ball move. Greg Maddux would be the obvious, but Greg Maddux never was a guy throwing 100. Pedro was, and he had to become a pitcher. He had to become the guy who could break off an off-speed pitch on a 3-2 count rather than just going ahead and rearing back and throwing it 100 and throwing it past you. You have to wonder about the future for Paul Skenes, and you have to wonder about what the Pirates think about Paul Skenes' future, because right now he still has a ton of value. Coming up this winter, he has a ton of value. We don't know his health. We know the numbers aren't great, but we know as of right now, he's, quote, healthy. And if he is still healthy, we're probably going to see how this unfolds for the future because he could get shopped this offseason. The numbers are amazing. They're amazing right now, career-wise, for Paul Skenes. Like, you take the aggregate of his first 3 years in Major League Baseball, and it's still unbelievable. But it's mostly his first 2 years. Winning the Cy Young last year and being that guy. We saw it with Skubal, right? He gets hurt, he comes back, the Tigers ship him out. Now, does Skubal go back to double Cy Young form next year? Potentially. Yeah, he could. Or maybe the Tigers were right to move him because he was going to sign there anyway, get something for him, and Skubal will never be the same pitcher that he was for the Tigers. Well, maybe Paul Skenes is never going to be the same pitcher that he was in his first 2 years in Pittsburgh because he's hurt and he needs surgery. And if he has surgery, then we don't know what he looks like when he comes back. Now, power pitchers who do come back after Tommy John surgery, sometimes they come back stronger. Sometimes they come back more dominant. Can Paul Skenes develop into a pitcher, like a real pitcher? I don't know. It's going to be up to him as to whether or not he can develop dominant stuff, because his domination came from his 100, 101, and 102 mile per hour fastballs. Like, he is a workhorse. He is a power pitcher who then can disguise with other off-speed pitches, but it works off the fastball. That might not be his future. And if that's not his future, we have seen it so far, without the velocity, things are not going well for Paul Skenes without the velocity. It's just not good right now. ERA 6.25, back-to-back starts of 5 earned runs given up, and we'll see what he looks like coming up here for tonight, because the Brewers are favored with Kyle Harrison on the mound, as they should be. They should be. The Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball. The Pirates are not, but you get a decent price here on Milwaukee tonight because Kyle Harrison's coming off the IL and Paul Skenes. So there is some respect still coming to Paul Skenes because he could go out there and throw 7 shutout innings easily. Like, he still is that pitcher with that potential. We just haven't seen it recently out of Paul Skenes. And there are some real questions about what happens down the stretch and whether or not Paul Skenes should be shut down. Should he be limited? Should be on a pitch count? Like, what do you do with Paul Skenes? Because clearly the velocity is down, and clearly he's not the same pitcher that he was last year. And he threw a boatload of innings last year and a boatload of innings the year before. So maybe you want to limit it this year if you're Pittsburgh, because you don't want to have him go under the knife and have him need Tommy John surgery. We'll see tonight what's going to happen, but give me the Brewers. I like Milwaukee on the money line coming up tonight. Cheap price with Harrison on the bump at minus 130. Let's talk about what happened last night. The Red Sox just keep on winning. Look at, I moved back on June 30th. On June 30th, the Red Sox on June 30th were 10 games under 500. It is August the 5th, okay? Sitting here in New England, and the Red Sox are 10 games over 500. That is stupid. They blasted the White Sox last night, 14-2. They've won 27 of their last 34 games. That's the best run in the history of the Boston Red Sox. They are rolling. Like, it's unbelievable to watch the lineup, the pitching, the bullpen. They're the hottest team in sports. Okay, there is nobody hotter in sports than the Boston Red Sox right now. What does that mean? Nothing. Okay? It means nothing. I'm telling you, I love this team. I think this team is really resilient. I think it's interesting. I think Chad Tracy could very well win Manager of the Year. I mean, Alex Cora, I love Alex, but he's looking more and more like a problem. And Chad Tracy being the guy who knew the kids, who knew where to play different people. The vibes have never been higher at Fenway Park than they are right now. The Boston Red Sox are 1 game behind the Yankees in the loss column right now. 1. It's unbelievable when you look at this as to how the Red Sox have gone through the summer of July and now here into August. They play again tonight here with Sonny Gray on the mound against the White Sox. The Red Sox are going to end the year over 500. I keep on saying this because they are so far over, and I bet them last night. I'm going to bet them again today. Like, it's just rinse and repeat until further notice, until this gets cooled off by the Red Sox. At some point, they're going to cool off. But they've got 2 players who they traded for, and neither one has made any real contribution. Curtis Mead got hurt in his second at-bat, got a broken wrist, and we're going to see Rushman at some point in the next couple of weeks, probably, as he starts his rehab to come back from a wrist injury. They got reinforcements coming offensively, but right now they don't need any help. I mean, 14 runs last night against the White Sox, a grand slam in the the first inning. They're up 6-0 after second inning. It was early. They just ran out and ran away with the game. Unbelievable run for the Red Sox at the moment. And, yeah, I agree. Just imagine if they have Crochet. I mean, look, getting Crochet would be amazing. I mean, look, getting Crochet would be amazing. It would be insane to see him in a Red Sox uniform atop this rotation come the postseason. They're going to need him because here's the problem. All of this winning that they've been doing in July doesn't mean anything. Like, they're beating up on the Dodgers and the Yankees and the best teams in baseball, right? But it doesn't mean anything unless you go and do something in the postseason. So let's see what they do in the playoffs. But if this is a 3-game sweep and they're done, okay, great. You were so hot in July and now you get, worked over. So that's why, like, the Yankees aren't panicking and the Dodgers don't care. And, like, the top teams don't care what the Red Sox are doing. The Red Sox were dead in the water and now they're back in the conversation, but they're only back in the conversation. That's it. That's all they're doing. So, like, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love this, but let's see what happens if they make the postseason. I think they will be in the playoffs. What they do in the playoffs, let's see. If they get Garrett Crochet back and they go Crochet, Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez in the bullpen, they get healthy, they get their bats back. Red Sox, I made the projection in spring training in 2025 that the Boston Red Sox would win the American League pennant in 2026. Okay? Now, I said that because of Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony, and Marcelo Meyer. I thought the kids, after having 2 years of experience, the Red Sox would then go and explode. They've gone a different path, but that prediction was still made. Let's see if I wind up being correct, but I like this team a lot right now. Everybody does. They're crushing it. Like, it's absolutely amazing to watch the Red Sox. The Cubs spoiled the debut of Turk Skubal last night. Struck out the first batter that he saw, but the Cubs win the game. The Cubs won the trade deadline in a lot of ways with all the moves that they made. I can't wait to see where Chicago goes from here because the division's right there for them to take it, and they've got some pieces. If they get healthy, if their rotation can get off the IL and get healthy, they could be a team that could create a problem for the Dodgers or other teams. The Dodgers, again, are so far ahead of everybody else to win the World Series. I'm not saying put a lot of money on it, but on the Dodgers to not win the World Series, we've seen this story before, right? Teams going for three-peats, they make a big, huge trade, and they don't live up to the hype because they've got too many issues, too many injuries, too much success. We'll see, but Skubal did not win his debut last night. Cubs get the W coming up here yesterday for that. Time for our Circa Sports team of the day. It is the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 21-1 at Circa Sports to win the whole damn thing. And we finally have a double-digit win total to talk about. It is the Bengals at 10.5. Now, I had been going in order on Circa Sports' odds board, but because odds boards move around, they raised the odds of the Bengals from about 18-1 to 21-1 last night. Now, again, Bet Bash is in town. So with Bet Bash at Circa, and I get there tonight, there's some pretty big gamblers staying at Circa or staying downtown right now. So I do expect some NFL future market movement here and some big bets to come in the futures market on who wins the Super Bowl. So somebody likes either Buffalo or somebody else and adjusted the odds all the way down to the Bengals, going from 18-1 to 21-1 to win it all. Now, their schedule is really, I don't want to say easy. Easy is the wrong word, but it is the third easiest on paper right now. Can we see 11 wins out of the Bengals? If Joe Burrow stays healthy, I think we can. They play Tampa at home, and there's so much drama going on with Tampa. Bengals should win that game. They go on the road to Houston, which, look out, Joe Burrow. But if they can somehow stop the run and fix their defensive problems early in the year, we know that Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor in week 1, they're a disaster, right? Remember that a couple of years ago in Survivor? I think they've lost something like 5 out of the last 6 years. They've lost the opening game. So let's just follow that trend and say Tampa goes up there and beats Cincinnati. Then say they beat Houston on the road. Let's say they bounce back, they beat Houston. I like them to beat Pittsburgh on the road in week 3. Jacksonville at home is an absolute barn burner. Awesome game. Awesome game in October for Jacksonville and the Bengals. Then they play at Miami, a game that they should win, and they go to their bye. Then on the road at Baltimore. Yes, sign me up for that game in late October. That's awesome. Then we go Tennessee. Should be a win. They go overseas to play Atlanta. Should be a win. They play Pittsburgh at home. That should be a win. They play at Washington. That should be a win. They play New Orleans at home. That should be a win. They're at Cleveland. That should be a win. After the bye, they might run the table there all the way to Kansas City in December at home. That's a very, very winnable stretch for the Bengals after they get away from the Baltimore Ravens. And if they open up the start of the year, if they could open up, 4-1 or 3-2, I think that's possible to get 12 and 5 for the Bengals. I don't think that's nuts. Again, it all comes down to Joe Burrow's health. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, this team could have a really big year. They do have some questions at wide receiver behind Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. We'll see who steps up as the third wide receiver, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are two of the best wideouts in the entire game. So if you have T. Higgins and you have Jamar Chase, you have Joe Burrow, you have a decent offensive line, okay. Like, you can go to war with that. You can go play with that. I hate Zach Taylor, okay? I will, until Zach Taylor is no longer a head coach, I will have this, one enemy in the world, that Zach Taylor is the head coach of the Bengals. I'm not a fan. But remember, the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, it was at SoFi. It was against the Rams. Everybody thinks the Rams are going to get there. So Bengals-Rams repeat at SoFi. Not crazy. Not insane. 21-1, some real nice value on a franchise, unbelievable quarterback who at some point Joe Burrow is going to want to show back out and kind of go, remember me? Like, you guys forgot about me. Spend all this time talking about Lamar and Patrick and now this Drake kid. And what about me? You forgot about me? This could be remember me. A year where we go back, oh, right, Joe Burrow is that guy. He's that dude. He goes and puts up those types of numbers. And Jamar Chase is that guy. And all of a sudden, the Bengals are a real problem. They could be a real problem. That's really, really possible for them to be a real problem coming up for somebody here, and really the whole AFC coming up here for today. If you guys are going to Vegas, why not Circa Sports for their football contests? Circa Survivor, $20 million minimum. We're going $22-23 million this year for a guarantee. Circa $1.8 million, a $1 million first place prize, $6 million guaranteed. The Grandissimo is a $100,000 entry. We have seen a very, I don't want to call it slow, but different type of handle coming in for the Grandissimo. Folks are taking their time, knowing they don't need to put down $100,000. They'll wait till the Ultimate Football Contest weekend for August 27th and 28th. Then you'll see the Grandissimo money really start to come in. That's a $4 million first place prize. Remember, Circa Sports' contests, they never take a rake on any of their pools. Any extra money goes right back into the contests. We're going over 20 million. We'll see if we can get to the over on the guarantee for Circa Survivor. Circa Millions. You must be in Vegas to sign up. You must hire a proxy if you live outside of it, but we got that for you in just 1 second. But for more information, go to circasports.com. And Circa Million is where we will be for our contests, which we've got 6 contestants left for our contest. We will do it again next Monday. We will count it down to Circa the Ultimate Football Contest weekend. We got 3 weeks to go, 3 contests to go to see if we can get down to 1. If we have more than 1 still alive, we will pick a name out of the hat coming up for the live show on Thursday, and that person will be my partner for Circa Million. That will be when I will sign up as well. I will sign up for Circa Million. I know I'm doing 2 Circa Million entries. I know I'm doing that. I know I'm doing the Westgate College Football Contest. I know I'm doing that. I don't know what else I'm doing. I haven't really determined yet what I'm doing. I might get involved. I had someone ask me about doing the Survivor contest at Circa, so I might do that. But I don't know yet. I got to kind of figure that out as to how I want to do it. So I'll let you know, but for sure I'll have 2 entries in the million and 1 entry in the Westgate College Football Contest. After that, I got to see what else I want to do from a football handicapping contest. Yeah, no, I don't know yet. Look, Survivor contests are a ton of fun. They are, but it is getting out of September is so hard for the NFL. And I think people believe that it's easy. Like, I feel like once you get to November, if you can somehow get to the 1st of November, you should be pretty good. Like, you should be okay. And it gets a lot easier to pick winners. It gets a lot easier to kind of play around. And, I think it's a little bit on the safer side. to get there is a minefield that you never see coming. Like you have to, there are so many rules for Survivor, right? Like you never pick a road team. You never pick a team coming off of a primetime game. You never pick a divisional game, right? These are all things that, like, there's all these rules for Survivor. So sometimes it's hard to find a team to pick, and sometimes you're having to pick a crap team, and then you're putting $1,000 down on a crap team. Instead of playing Survivor, I have really thought about doing this. Take $100 and let's bet money line every week and constantly roll it over and have the same rules as Survivor. But I've thought about saying, okay, let's do it either, or maybe take the rules off of it and just say, hey, I'm going to bet $100 money line. I'm going to pick one team to win. I can pick the same team twice. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to pick money line every week. And let's just roll it over. Take $100 and first week, roll it over. Second week, it's $150. Then $150, you go ahead and now it's, $375. $375, roll it over. Now it's $750. Now it's $750, you're rolling it over. Now it's $1,400. You know what I mean? I might do that. I might do my own version of it. I'm not going to get to $1 million, but you could potentially get it up to like $50,000 or $60,000 by the end of the year as to how things roll. So that might be a way that I do it as well. I've also, and you guys can tell me this in the comment section, and you guys can tell me on the Discord channel too. Splash Sports has contacted me again about hosting either a pick'em contest or a Survivor contest for the brigade, and said, hey, do you guys want to do this year? I've said yes, but I don't know the parameters because I don't want to do the same thing as everybody else. The problem with Splash is that everyone does it, right? I mean, like, if you're on the internet at this point, come play in my Splash Sports guarantee, blah, 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 right? There's just too many out there. So I want to make it unique. That's why we did the Big Ten for college football last year. We did the Big Ten, or was it 2 years ago? We did the Big Ten Survivor. And then last year, what did we do? I forget what we did last year. I'm trying to find some unique version, either college and NFL combined or something that makes our contest unique, that is different than everybody else's contest. And so being involved in it makes it more fun. So stay tuned coming up for that. Ish is asking, what is the entry for the college football contest? How's it work? It is going to be fun. It is at the Westgate. It's a $500 entry. There are 7 picks a week you have to make, and there's 50 games to pick from per week. 50. So not like the NFL where it's a finite number, 50. So let's see what happens with that going forward, but I'm going to be in that for sure. I'm in the Westgate for that. The Westgate does a Survivor. The Westgate does a $1,500 Westgate Super Contest. Theirs is $1,500. I'd prefer to do Circa's at $1,000. There's more ways to win with the Westgate. They have 3-week, 6-week, and 9-week pools with the Westgate. Circa does the 4-week and 5-week contests. They do the booby prize as well. But to me, I like the way Circa does it. I think it's just, I'm a fan of Millions. I like Circa Millions a lot. $1,000 entry. I'm a big fan of that. But I am excited to see kind of how the college football contest goes, because I've not been in a college football contest in a while. I might, just for the hell of it, do the win total, because we've been doing all of these win totals all summer long. There's a $200 entry at the Westgate to join for a win total contest. You just pick all the win totals over or under, and you can watch it. It's $200. I think the winner took home like $5,000 last year or something like that. So we'll ask that on, well, I guess we won't do Friday. We're off on the air on Friday, but we'll ask Tom coming up next week when we get him going for that. So I'll see Tom tomorrow, though. I'll stop in and have a conversation with Tom for that. Speaking of Tom, if you guys are in need of a proxy, the Pro Football News of the Day is being brought to you by Vegas Football Proxy. Tom and his great staff. Looking forward to seeing him coming up. Maybe I'll see him tonight. I don't know. I'll be at the book tonight. I'll be at Circa late night tonight. Tom, I don't know if he'll be there at 10 o'clock when I roll into Circa tonight, but definitely in the morning, jump on in and go down and say hi to him. We are doing our show live from Bet Batch tomorrow for the Thursday 10 a.m. seminar with Adam Bjorn and myself. Tom's going to come on by and stop in. If you need a proxy for Circa Millions, Survivor, or Grandissimo, the official proxy service of Pushing the Odds is Tom at VegasFootballProxy.com. Yes, you have options when it comes to proxies. It's important to trust.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey,
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is totally on him now when the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. You know, we've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Could either really help or hurt the fact that I've bet under 36.5 already for this game. Yeah, because if they throw picks, that equals points. I don't want picks. No picks. No picks. Be smart, okay? Just run the ball, right? First half unders. And this is, I need you guys to point this out. If you know a book right now that has a first half total up, please tell me, because I'm hunting this. I'm already on the game under, but the first half under has been extremely profitable to bet at the Hall of Fame game. The first half under, the defenses have been way ahead of the offenses, and the first half under should be 18.5, somewhere in that number, right? Anything over 17, we got to bet under in the first half of the Hall of Fame game, okay? If it is over 17.5, but if it's like 21, I'm going to be all in on it. If it's like 14.5, oh, it is 18.5. Okay, bingo, bet the under. Thank you. I will go and bet that after the show's over. I've been waiting for that number. It's in the state that I'm in. That's phenomenal. So I'll bet that. We'll go first half under for that. FanDuel is 17.5. Okay, now that's getting more realistic. So DK is high. So DK is my, oh, all right. You guys are going to make me do this. Where's my phone? Oh, I have my phone. Hold on. I have to do this on the air because if this number goes away, I'm going to be really bummed out. So literally you're going to see me make a bet live on the air. I don't normally do this, but I really don't want this number to go away because I don't think it's going to stay for long. If DK is at 18.5, which is wild because their number has come down to 35.5 for the game. I bet under 36.5 the other day. So, okay, you guys are telling me that there's a first half. Oh, there it is. Look at that. How about that? We have that number. First half under 18.5. Done. There we go. Okay. We won't be on the air tomorrow. So first half under and game under, both going for tomorrow for the Hall of Fame game coming up for that. Thank you for that, guys. Appreciate that. There we go. Under. That's the number. I like the game to go under. I have 36.5. I like the game to go under, but the bigger deal is the first half to go under because I don't think either quarterback, I mean, they're going to run the ball. It's going to be almost like a running clock. And then you get into the second half when guys who are going to be working for State Farm in a couple of weeks and they're on the field, like that's the worry, right? Fumbles, interceptions, guys want their moment of glory. They're, where they should be taking the ball out of bounds. They're trying to score and like they break tackles and all of a sudden the game goes over, right? The game fell 38, 37, 39, 40 for the last 4 years. This game has gone over consistently because of the late game scoring. So first half under is the bet. Like first half, that's the bet. First half under. Game under is fine, but I bet that I bet that on Monday. I bet 36.5. So we're down to 35.5 at DK. I bet 36.5 at DK earlier, but 18.5 for the first half is that's the bet I like coming up here for the Hall of Fame game coming up here for tomorrow. Let's jump down the rabbit hole. If you had a shot to be the offensive coordinator for your favorite team, what play calls would you make? The Rabbit Hole segment being brought to you by Rabbit. You can download the Rabbit app. Check out their new app at the moment. You can get in with Rabbit and use it for free on your first time. Use the code PTO5. They'll give you 5 free Rabbit Cash to go and check it out, where you can customize and share your sports picks. You will never be limited. No issues with anybody coming in telling you can't bet it or you can't bet here. You set the terms. You call the shots. It's a social experience. It's 100% customizable. No awkward Venmos. Free download. Google Play, Apple Store for Rabbit with the code PTO5 to get 5 free Rabbit Cash. This is wild. I love this. Akron football. Akron football made the announcement yesterday that they have a new promotion called the offensive coordinator of the game, giving one football season ticket holder the first ever opportunity to help script the opening drive of the football team's home opener. A selected fan will work directly with Zips head coach Joe Moorhead to help design plays that open the game. A first of its kind type experience for the Akron football program. If you got a shot to do this, what would you do? Would you do this? Every time you refer somebody to a season ticket purchase of Akron football, you get one extra chance in the random drawing that will happen on August the 19th. Now, you can't just call whatever the hell play you want, okay? They want you to be working with the head coach on this. This is not just a random, like, you get to go play whatever you want. But the director of athletics, Andrew Goodridge, said, quote, "We're always looking for new ways to bring our fans closer to the program. This is about giving one of our most loyal supporters a seat at the table right alongside our coaching staff on one of the biggest nights of the season." They're going to sit down and they're going to script this coming up for Akron football. Now, I don't know how much Akron football season tickets cost. That would be sort of an interesting look. But the first home game of the year for Akron, because the Wake Forest game is their first game, Robert Morris is their first game at home. So I'm guessing, and it would make kind of sense, right? Like, if you're Akron, you don't want a fan scripting the Wake Forest. That's a big game for Akron, right? You're playing at Wake Forest. You're playing at a Power 4 conference school. Like, that's a big deal. So you don't want to do it versus Wake Forest. You want to do it against Robert Morris. So they're doing it against Robert Morris on September the 12th. You get to sit down. Now, I have no idea how good Robert Morris football is. I also have no idea how good Akron is either on this. So I've got no clue. But let's see how much. Look it up. One thing I didn't look up for the show. How much does a season ticket cost at Akron football? I'm going to say it's $400, between $300 and $500. Let's say that. $300 and $500 coming up. They're making me hold a button to confirm I'm a human and not a bot before they tell me how much money it costs. I don't want to give you my email address. Okay, so I guess that's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be for that, for football tickets. Okay, season ticket passes at Akron, $75. Who said that in the chat? That's pretty good. That's all it costs is $75. Oh, that's great. Okay, that's That's not bad. You can pay as much as $181 for season tickets. Look at that. Ish, good call. Cheapest is $75. That's not bad. If you're an Akron football ticket, look at BC. BC is $650. Yeah, okay. A little different at BC. Ross, if you go to a game, by the way, my former boss runs the Boston College Sports Broadcasting Network. And allow you to draw up the opening drive. Now, if you go 3 and out, that would suck. Like you win this and you're like telling all your boys, all your family, and like you're up in the booth and you got the headset on and you're like, let's go. And it's 3 and out. It's like, oh man, it's like a blink of an eye and you're done. And then it's like, oh, that stinks. But I think it's brilliant. I think it's really, really smart. I think it's a great promotion for Akron football to do that. And why not, right? It's Akron football. It's MAC football. Get your fans excited. Get some national publicity for your fans to be able to go ahead and do that and have people, have a conversation about I was the offensive coordinator for a day. The question I would have is like, do you have to learn the playbook, right? Like if I win this on August the 19th, I have a month before the game. Do I go to practice? Do I have to go and sit in on like the game tape? Do I have to go and sit in on practice in terms of like what our main strategic goal is going to be? Because the plays have to be there, right? The plays need to be a part of it. So in order, you have a random fan coming off the street to then come in and to take a look at your playbook like Madden and say, yeah, do that. Well, like what happens if like a kid who's supposed to run that play is hurt? And like, so what's the dynamic there? Like, this is really interesting. Yeah, some kid throws a pick on the first play. Yeah. I don't know. It is. There's a lot of different things. Josie Meyer says, if I'm the Akron coach, I'm insulted. It's the ultimate money grab PR stunt by Akron. Yes. But that doesn't make it not fun. Like, it still makes it fun, even though it is a PR stunt, even though it is a money grab. Yeah. But I think it's a cool promotion. It's Akron football. This is not Notre Dame. Okay. This is not, Ohio State. This is Notre Dame. We're not having a fan come in and, call the plays for Julian Sayin. This is, I don't know who Akron's quarterback is. Like, okay. So I like it. I like it. What if they only score one touchdown and it's your drive? See, that's what I mean. Wouldn't that be neat if you had like an unbelievable drive right down the field and team scores and everyone's like looking up in the booth and they're like, holy crap, look at the guy. That's amazing. I mean, to Josie Meyer's point, it would kind of diminish the head coach, right? If you're like, if you're calling a better game than the offensive coordinator or a better game than the head coach, and you score, and you have that hanging around your neck for the entire season, you might be annoyed by that. That might bother you. I could see that becoming a problem. Let's talk Trend Center app trend of the day. What to play for tonight in Major League Baseball. Well, it's a lot of rinse and repeat type stuff here for baseball when you get to August. And it's the same thing here when it comes to what happened yesterday. Trend Center app trend of the day was the Boston Red Sox on the money line. And what are we doing today? The exact same darn thing. Red Sox on the money line. Why? Well, the Red Sox, since July 3rd, have gone 24-3 on the money line, up 21.95 units. If you have been betting on the Red Sox since the All-Star break, you are rolling. They were 80-1 to have the best record in July. They clearly got that. Could they do it in August? They're 3-0 in August. So with Sonny Gray on the mound, why not? just keep it rolling. It's one of those rinse and repeat type stuff. It's just until it's broken, just keep on betting the Red Sox because you're getting a decent price on the Red Sox again today because everyone's expecting the Red Sox to lose at some point. The professionals are betting against the Red Sox, which I don't blame them for doing it because at some point, Sonny Gray is going to have a really bad start. At some point, Sean Burke, he's been great. Sean Burke has won 7 of the last 8 starts for the White Sox. Sean Burke on the mound, they've won. They lost 4-1 to the Astros that snapped that 6-game win streak for the White Sox. He's from Sutton, Massachusetts. You got a local kid on the mound, 6'6", 240-pounder, 26-year-old going to Fenway Park. You don't think that kid is absolutely jacked up to pitch tonight against the Red Sox? And Sonny Gray has been great. At some point, people are like, Sonny Gray is going to turn back into a pumpkin. He's 13-2 with a 2.93 ERA. At Fenway Park, he's 5-1 with a 2.72 ERA. 17 earned runs and 56 and a third innings worth of work. I mean, Sonny Gray has been awesome for the Red Sox. He's in the Cy Young conversation, for goodness sakes, for the Red Sox. But we're getting a depressed price on this game tonight because of the fact that the Red Sox and the professionals, people are expecting the Red Sox to lose. You can get this as low as minus 115 right now in the market. People are taking the White Sox. So I haven't bet this. This feels, I don't know. This feels a little bit more difficult for me, to be quite honest. I'm not sure I am getting involved with this game. I get why it's a rinse and repeat game. I understand why the Trend Center app trend of the day, 24-3 is 24-3. It's just bet the streak until they lose. I get it. Until Boston cools off, just keep betting them. But I've said this before. When I haven't been betting a team, it's my team. When I haven't been betting on a team consistently when they're on streaks like this,